My name's Jeff Hefner. I work at Blackbaud. I am one of the Altru product support leads. In this video, we'll cover adding merchandise departments, categories, and the individual items. This is the second step in adding merchandise to Altru. The first step was creating vendor records for the suppliers of the merchandise, which we covered in the previous video, adding and searching for vendor records. In this video, we'll show 3 examples of setting up merchandise in Altru. The first will be a very basic merchandise setup, which we think will cover most Altru clients. The next example will be for a larger organization that has a bigger gift shop and may have areas in the gift shop that they would like to segment items. And the final example we will show is for a gift shop where certain items are taxable and some aren't. Let's go ahead and start with the first example. This is the basic merchandise hierarchy. At the top we have our department. Next would be our categories, and these are just the categories of the items we're going to sell. And then underneath it we're going to have what type of items we're going to sell. So I have my DVDs, and then under DVDs I have my 19th century DVD, I have Living History, I have a DVD called Space and You. The next example is for an organization that has a much larger gift shop and wants to segment items by where they're sold in the gift shop. So we have an apparel department where I'm keeping my socks, my sweaters, my shirts. I have a seasonal department where I have things like my calendars, my hayride tickets, my greeting cards. And then I have my media department, which has my DVDs, my CDs, my books. This example covers a gift shop where certain departments are going to be taxable and some aren't. So I have a department called Tax Apparel, and then I have the corresponding non-taxable version, which is the Exempt Apparel, and the same thing for media. I have a tax media and an exempt media. Now we're going to go ahead and add our merchandise items. From the merchandise landing page, I'm going to click Add Merchandise. This is the Add Merchandise item form. Here we're not specifying how many of each item we have. We're just saying, hey, these are the types of items we're going to sell. I'm going to start with my Giver shirt. And then I'm going to choose my department. I know it's a shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and choose apparel. And then the category. For me, once I've chosen the apparel department, I can choose my shirts category. And then I have to specify what vendor is selling this to me. In my system, I have a vendor record called Acme. That's who's selling me my merchandise. Earlier in the video, we talked about leaving the default box checked for whether on the department level if merchandise items could be discountable. Why I said leave this to yes is because here on the actual merchandise item we can control whether it can be discounted or not. So even if you chose yes on this, the previous screen with the departments, we can come here and uncheck it, and so this item cannot be discounted. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say yes, it can be discounted. We'll go over discounting merchandise in another video. Then we have another decision, which is, does your merchandise include dimensions? If it's anything apparel related like clothing, or if it's a poster or a picture, anything that's going to have size differences or color differences, and you're going to want to keep your inventory based on the colors you have, the size you have, then you're going to want to use dimensions. It just makes sense, and it'll make more sense as we go along. So I'm going to check the box that says it includes dimensions, and then I'm going to specify what those dimensions could be. Here I'm just going to say size, right? Because there could be size differences, and then there's going to be color differences. And then I'm going to click Save. This is the merchandise item record, and you can see we're on the inventory tab, and I don't have any inventory yet because we haven't told it, hey, I have 10 blue shirts, I have 10 large blue shirts. Before we can do that, since we said this does have dimensions, we have to tell it what those dimensions could be. We're now going to click Edit Dimensions under Tasks on the left. And you'll see when we added this item, we said size was going to be one of our dimensions and colors was going to be one of our dimensions. Now we just have to say what those sizes are. So we'd have our large, medium, and kids. And then my colors. For this, I'm going to just have blue and red. And then I'll click Save. Now we have to add the inventory for this item. I'm just going to click Add, And I'm going to say for my large blue shirts, they cost me, I'll say they cost me $3, and I'm going to sell them for $8. Quantity wise, I have 100 in the shop. That's what I'm going to put. And then if I had the UPC, I could specify it here. When you go to sell a merchandise item, which we'll cover in another video, it's going to prompt you for the UPC number. So if you know it, great. Go ahead and put it in here now. When you go to sell a merchandise item, that's how it's going to look up what item you're selling. So now we've said that I have 100 large blue Giver shirts. I can go ahead and, if I wanted to, add some additional sizes and inventory. So I'm going to say kid shirts. Those are red for me, and I'm paying $2 for those, and those I'm selling for $5. On hand this time, I only have 50 of them. And that's really it. If I want to add additional inventory, I just click add, and I just keep building it out. The system will allow you to sell past what you have available in your quantity. So if your ticket seller is at the counter and they see a blue shirt behind the counter they want to sell, they can do so even if you don't have a quantity for it. So it will let you sell into the negatives, but if you ever want to add additional inventory, you can open the item record and change the quantity right here. Let's go back. Let's add some additional items. I'm going to go back to the merchandise landing page. I'm going to click add merchandise. But this time I'm going to add something that doesn't include dimensions. I'm going to add something to my media department, maybe a DVD or a book. So I'm going to say I have a item, it'll be a book called Cake is a Lie. And then it's going to be in my media department, and then I can choose my category. For me, it's a book. And then I'll choose the vendor record. I'll go to my backup Acme record. But this one, it doesn't include any dimensions. There's no size difference, there's no color difference. So instead of having to go in and go into the merchandise item and say, hey, I have 20 blue ones, 40 mediums, I'll just come down here and say it costs me $8 and I'm going to sell it for $15, and on hand I have 30 of them. And then if I know the UPC, I can fill it in here. And now I'll click save. And then it opens up the individual merchandise record. I'll add one more. So I'm going back to the merchandise landing page. I'm going to click add merchandise. This time I'm going to add something seasonal. So I'm going to do my 2011 calendar. I'm paying just $1 for these, and I'm selling them for $5. And on hand, I still have a lot. I have 200. And that's it. That's how you add merchandise items to the system. If you ever need to add additional ones, you just click on the merchandise tab up at the top, and then click add merchandise, and the add merchandise form is displayed.